episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, joined alongside my co-host and good friend Tony Cepeda. And today, week 15, the most important game of the season. We say it every week, and we really mean it. The Chicago Bears take on the NFC North rival, and also in the playoff hunt, the Minnesota Vikings. The Green Bay Packers officially have clinched the NFC North with their win over the Baltimore Ravens because the Ravens are stupid. So the Bears can only get into the playoffs with a wild card berth now. So, Tony, let's talk about the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, there is still a chance, the old GIF. There's definitely still a chance. So, entering the weekend, the Bears needed the following. We're 3-0 so far, which is good. So we needed Buffalo over Carolina. We got that. We needed Dallas over the Giants. Got that. Needed was San Francisco over the Falcons. Got that. And now we still need Bucks over the Saints Sunday Night Football. Might be done by the time this is out. Go Bucks. They should win that game.
They should win that game.
There's no reason they shouldn't win. They shouldn't beat the Taysom Hill and the Saints. But we've seen crazier things happen. Eagles over the Washington Football Team, and then also the Seattle Seahawks over the LA Rams. Both those games.
The Seahawks are hot.
Plus money too. I have the small shred of hope parlay, which is all those teams winning. I posted it on my Twitter, retweeted it from our main account. So make sure you're following for our plus 2,000 parlay plays. 3-0 so far. We're halfway there almost.
So how much would you win, if I may ask?
So I think it's like 10 to win 200. I don't remember what I put. I think I put like 25 on it. So
oh wow, so you could win some decent money.
What is that? $500, I think.
20, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know.
Go
those
Tony!
Are all teams that can win. Okay, I will say I also threw the Bears in there, the Bears money line, which really juiced it up. So that's why that and the Seahawks really pumped it up because they're all plus money. Don't
forget Eagles and Washington Football on Tuesday as well. We need the Eagles over the Washington Football Team. But
Tyler Heineke's out, so
it hurts. Yeah. But it hurts. But Gardner Minshew is leading the way for the Eagles, I believe, because Jalen Hurts is still out. But the Bears, Kirk Cousins only has one win on Monday Night Football, and that came last year against a Bears team on a 5-game losing streak. So. Tony, you could win some good money here.
There's a chance. I'm telling you, keep watching. You guys got to watch for our bets. The small shred of hope parlay. I mean, it's looking as good as it could look.
And yeah, make sure you follow us on Twitter about that. Tony will be posting that as it goes. If we go 4-0 tonight. So again, this is being recorded at 7:02 Central Time. In Chicago. If the Bucks win tonight, I mean, like 4-0, the favor is looking pretty good for the Bears, increases the playoff chances. I think New York is pretty much out of it now with their loss to Dallas today. So, But this game is not going to be easy for the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football because who's in and who is out. The Bears are COVID crazy right now. Let's start with the list. Jalen Johnson, Allen Robinson, Andy Dalton, Tayshaun Gibson Sr., Eddie Jackson, Artie Burns, Ryan Nall, Isaiah Coulter. Do you think I'm done yet? Nope, I'm not done yet. Jesse James, Larry Borum, Mario Edwards Jr., Joel Ebuniwe, Sam Kamara, Duke Shelley, Bill Lazor, offensive coordinator. John DeFilippo will be taking over for him. Sean Desai, defensive coordinator. Mike Penton will take over for him. And Chris Tabor, special teams coordinator. Brian Jin will be taking over for him. So, and then you go to our injuries. Xavier Crawford is out. DeAndre Houston Carson is out. Jason Peters is out. Tonga is doubtful. Roquan Smith is questionable, but he was full practice on Friday, so things are looking good. And he just tweeted that he needs people to get the help out with cheering at Soldier Field. So it sounds like he's playing. And Akeem Hicks is questionable. So you have 7 for sure starters out for the Chicago Bears. I just want to say that Akeem Hicks was full practice the entire week, so I think that he's playing. Also, he never misses a contest against Dalvin Cook because they don't get along very well. But the Bears have for sure 7 starters. Their entire secondary is part of that 7 is out. Larry Borum obviously being out hurts, and Jason Peters. So Tevin Jenkins is going to get a lot of playing time. But our entire secondary is going to be second stringers against Justin Jefferson. The Vikings injuries are big, though, as well. Dalvin Cook has been battling with a shoulder injury all week and is questionable for tomorrow's game, which usually means that he's going to play. He loves playing the Bears. Adam Tahim with an ankle injury has been out all week, is also questionable.
Thielen.
My bad. No, but that's good for the secondary. It's good for the secondary. And Eric Kendricks with a lower back injury is also questionable for the Minnesota Vikings. So a lot of big factors in tomorrow night's game on Monday Night Football for the Chicago Bears.
It is. I'm sure you saw me laughing as you're just listing these names after names. We have a script, Google Doc, normal size sheet. I mean, we have to scroll to get to the bottom of the Bears injury sheet. It's just, I mean, I don't know. Like, I just don't know. I know we're going to get into that a little more in a second. And again, too many guys out. That's too many guys out. I'll say it. That's
the entire secondary is out. Eddie Goldman will be back. He passed all his COVID protocols, so he is good to go for this game. Elijah Wilkinson is also back, so left tackle is looking a little bit stronger. Tevin Jenkins go back to right tackle, where he, is used to as a offensive lineman. But man, I mean, the Bears are just signing guys at this point that we've never even heard of. When we get into the secondary, it is hilarious. Some of these guys, because we're like, who? Deion Bush, apparently is coming off of IR. According to reports. So that could help a little bit at the safety position. But before we get into our next topic, though, as that list was just way too long, like Tony said, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Lou Malnati's. And today's sponsor is Lou Malnati's, a true Chicago classic established in 1971. Doesn't get much better than when it comes to deep dish Chicagoland pizza. Download the Lou Malnati's app today and get points every single time you order, and eventually you will get either free pizza, salad, wings, and more. Tune in for the rest of the episode starting now.
Yeah, I love Lou's. I love it even more that I can order from my phone and get rewarded for it. Make sure you do your order today. It's awesome. That's how Nick and I keep getting free pizzas, because we keep ordering through the app. They keep giving them to us. So it's awesome.
As crazy as it is, I had Lou Malnati's on Friday's episode. And then today I had so many points still, and I just didn't want to cook anything. I just went up and picked my combination, extra tomato sauce, extra sausage, extra garlic. It is absolutely horrible for you. The Lou is way better, but man, I love Lou Malnati's. So Tony, as we were saying before the commercial break, how is the Bears secondary going to look against the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football?
I could probably sum it up in one word, and it's going to be bad. If we're just going to be honest here, maybe not. Maybe they shock the world, and I would love that. I know we were kind of talking before we started, like with the Ravens and the Packers. Like, no one expected the Ravens to compete with them, but it's maybe that us against the world mentality out there to prove something. So here's those guys that I don't know might actually show up and make a play. So Kendall Vildor, Michael Joseph, Bo Pete Keys, which is it's an awesome name. It's a funny name, but it's an awesome name. Tease Tabor. I may be wrong on that, Nick. Tabor. Okay. Oh wow, I thought I got the first name wrong. D Virgin, great name. Marquis Christian, Thomas Graham Jr. And that's our secondary.
That's it. That is the eligible secondary for the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football.
This feels like a comedy podcast. We're just like, oh yeah, the entire team is out, and then we're gonna go play on prime time. The NFL's fine with that, and they're just gonna. Oh yeah, and also our entire coaching staff is out, and the biggest clown in the history of clowns is leading the charge. Yeah, I'm sure our secondary will figure it out. It's insanity.
Speaking of clowns, before we get into who we prefer to be our starters in the secondary, it has been reported internally and now given to external reports that the Bears are already starting to look at a new coaching for next year. So Matt Nagy looks like he's going to be out the door. It was first reported that we saw by JPA Football on Instagram. Make sure you go give them a follow. But it is crazy that the Bears can start looking for a candidate in the next couple of weeks due to the new NFL rule. Mm-hmm. So who doggy? We're going to have a new real NFL coach leading the way for the Chicago Bears. So Tony, let's go back to the secondary again. Just wanted to get that out there for the viewers. Who do we kind of discussed beforehand, but go through the viewers of why we want this to be our starting secondary.
Yeah, so we kind of, I think we both agree on this one. I will say Nick put a little more elbow grease into this one. So cornerback one, what is it again? Tease Tabor?
Tease Tabor.
Tabor. Okay, my apologies. Tease Tabor. I've never heard of this guy before, and maybe I just haven't.
He's
done
come
my
in a
research,
couple
but-
times. He's
Okay.
he's come in a couple times, but he's made plays before. So
I guess
go
I
look-
have seen his last name. I kind of confuse him with the special teams coach as well. So
right.
he's 6 feet tall, hard hitter, chip on his shoulder, just a guy that hopefully, again, I know that these guys probably aren't the guys we want playing, but these are guys, they're trying to earn their spots in the NFL. These are NFL football players trying to earn a next contract. So who knows?
And I said this before, that Tease Tabor reminds me a lot of Bryce Callahan, the way he walks, the way his swagger on the field. He plays a lot like him too. So Tease Tabor could make a name for himself on Monday Night Football.
Well, there we go. Let's hope he does. So cornerback 2, Michael Joseph, also 6 feet tall, knows the defense, just kind of a guy that it sounds like he's going to kind of be the leader of the secondary, which is also just silly to say, but so
great name though. Two first names.
Michael Joseph, just 2 strong names. Yeah, absolutely. So strong safety, Marquis Christian, 5'11", fast, plays hard. He might do something.
Yeah, hey, Eddie Jackson could be gone if we clean house and this guy steps up. You never know.
It is crazy. These guys, we might be singing a totally different tune in a day here where it's like, I can't believe they had 5 picks as a defensive core. Those guys balled out. Or it's going to be like, wow, Kirk Cousins really had 550 yards on Monday Night Football against us. It really could be anything here. And so at free safety, our favorite name probably of this list, my personal favorite name, Bo Pete Keys, 6'1", hard hitter, breaks up passes. At least in college, he was kind of the guy that was all over, kind of a ball hawk, I guess you could say. Magnet for the ball. So, maybe we'll get a couple defensive scores, take a little pressure off the offense, which just is non-existent at this point, both with players and also ability. So, there's a chance.
Just to clarify, though, this is not confirmed. Like, no one knows exactly the depth chart of the Bears, but those are all the potential defensive backs that can play.
Correct.
Because again, Jalen Johnson's out, Eddie Jackson's out, Tayshaun Gibson Sr.'s out. And our CB2 has never been really established the entire year. So it's just crazy. But, the reason why we chose this group also is they're bigger corners. And Justin Jefferson obviously is a very athletic receiver. He's taller. That's who you have to be able to guard. Luckily, they only really have one true wide receiver tomorrow night for the Minnesota Vikings. So if Dalvin Cook is out somehow and Justin Jefferson's the only guy, that makes things a lot easier in regards to keys to the game. And that's what I'm going to get into next. I think that's a great way to go into our 3 keys of the game. So if Dalvin Cook does play, though, Eddie Goldman, Akeem Hicks, Robert Quinn, Travis Gibson, and Bilal Nichols will determine this game. Because if you could take away one of the 2 ways that the offense can get yards, I mean, pretty simple. But if you're able to contain Dalvin Cook like the Chicago Bears have over the last couple seasons, great opportunity. And if you leave it up to these guys to stop Dalvin Cook, pass or run, because, they're probably going to have Robert Quinn and Travis Gibson, drop back into coverage a few times. You allow Alec Ogletree and Roquan Smith, who is likely going to play. Roquan Smith has been questionable a few games and then rips it up and has 14 tackles. And it allows them to drop back and help out the secondary. So that is my first key of the game, is that the front 7 or the front 4 has to contain Dalvin Cook if he does play, or whoever the Vikings running back is at this point. My number 2 is that the Vikings are the 28th ranked defense in yards allowed in the NFL this season. Very low key. They're 25th in passing, 26th in rushing defense. And the Bears have a huge chance to make something happen when you have David Montgomery, you have Khalil Herbert. Yes, you are missing Larry Borum, but their defensive front is complete. Who's that guy that unfortunately had the mental issue a couple weeks ago for the Minnesota Vikings? He's the defensive. Is it Evergreen? I forgot his name. He's their defensive end. And I apologize that I don't have it up right away. Let's look here real fast. But the Vikings are just struggling in regards to their defense, which kind of is a weird situation because the Vikings have always been Everson Griffin. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So he is out as well due to, unfortunately, a few different things that are going on personally. We hope that he gets the help that he needs, but they have not been doing well in regards to that. So if you let Monty and Herbert just rip it up, that gives the opportunity for Justin Fields to do things. And also the Vikings just lost their starting cornerback, Bashad Breeland. He earlier this week in practice ripped off his cleats and started fighting teammates and coaches. So that's
Sign him. He can fight Nagy. Perfect.
Anthony Miller already tried that, and that didn't work out too well. So, but hey, it gives a spark to the defense. You never know. And then finally, let Justin Fields move outside the pocket and let him run. 4.44 speed. Again, horrible defense. Probably the worst defense that the Bears have gone against this year. And they go against them again in the final week of the season. So this could get really interesting if they run the table. So the Bears, let Fields go crazy. Let him have his game. Let him ball out again on Monday night. Or it was Sunday Night Football with was it Monday Night Football against the Steelers, or was it Sunday night? I think it was Sunday night.
It was Monday night. I'm going to say it was Monday night.
So let Justin Fields become a Monday night legend, and let Kirk Cousins go to 1-11 or 1-10 on his all-time Monday night record. So Tony, let's hear. I'm talking to Kirk Cousins. Let's hear that your first key to the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you on the basically just let's embarrass Kirk Cousins. Hopefully that's really, even if we don't win, I just want to embarrass Kirk Cousins at this point. So my first key to the game is force Kirk Cousins to throw the ball all night. Shut down, stack the box, whatever you got to do. Shut down Dalvin Cook, because he is, I know Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are good players, but Kirk Cousins has to get them the ball for them to be a threat. And I really think that if we can shut down the running game, Kirk Cousins will make a mistake. It's what he does on Monday Night Football.
He tweaks.
I guess now that I'm saying it out loud, I don't know how our secondary is going to force those mistakes. But again, there's some sort of curse. Some witch doctor put a curse over Kirk Cousins. He can't play on Mondays. Stinks in general. Stinks on Monday night. Second key to the game: special teams keep playing amazing. I know a lot of the special teamers are probably going to be starters.
DeAndre Houston Carson's out. Chris, it's a disaster, but Jakeem Grant's playing, so that's good.
Jakeem Grant, Khalil Herbert's going to be back there. Had some great returns as well. Field position is a huge part of the game, obviously, as we know. So special teams, they kept us in the game against the Packers. There's a huge reason why we even had them on the ropes. Obviously, the Jakeem Grant touchdown was awesome, but just returning to like the 40-yard line every time is huge. Unfortunately, we didn't really take advantage of it.
Cairo Santos.
Santos as well, and Pat O'Donnell might as well. Patrick Scales out there making good snaps.
Out there.
Yeah. I mean, they're just so, they've just been so good. It's good that we're not talking about them. That is a great thing. You never want to be like refs. You never want to be the story. Last, final key to the game, I think the most important personally, don't Nagy it up. If the Vikings, if they beat us because they're just the better team, we have a ton of guys out, they just like physically dominate us, so be it. It's football, there's always going to be a better team. But if Nagy's out here wasting his timeouts, calling like 3rd and 10 draw plays, David Montgomery, Wildcat, runs on 4th and 1, I will lose my mind. We will lose the game. So don't Nagy it up. That's my biggest key to the game. Score predictions: I think the Bears win at home on Monday night. Kirk Cousins continues to just melt under pressure. The bright lights of Monday Night Football. Bears win 31-17. I'm going to keep saying it until that's the final score. Go Bears.
Do you believe me that Matt Nagy has only lost one time to the Minnesota Vikings?
I do, because I know we have the Vikings number, and I don't think it's because of Matt Nagy. I think it's because the Vikings are just, as a team, just a head case in the fact that they cannot win these close games. The Bears, and it's just Kirk Cousins has an amazing stats this year. I think he has he has very few interceptions. He has 30 touchdowns. It's actually pretty good, but they're 6-7. How are you 6-7 and you have one of the statistically best quarterbacks?
But you also have
this year.
But you have a terrible defense. I mean, it's so funny. It's so bad. So here, I just want to get it out there really fast about Kirk Cousins' stats this year. Kirk Cousins this year entering this game has a little over 30. He has 3,569 passing yards. Very nice. 27 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and a 103 quarterback rating. So 103 and a half quarterback rating.
That's insane.
Dude, I mean, the Bears haven't had a quarterback like that since Jay Cutler's numbers, where Jay Cutler entered the final game of the season. I'll never forget. He had 8 interceptions. We're like, single interceptions. And then he threw 3 picks, and it's just come on. It's just the most Bears thing ever. So just wanted to throw that out there, that Matt Nagy does have the Vikings number, so it is in our favor. And that loss came last year during the 5-game losing streak. Matt Nagy's first 5-game losing streak, not his second one that he had this year. So pretty much that I just got to go out and get the win. You have to win this game, and I'm going to say Bears 28, Vikings 24, because it's just Matt Nagy is the head coach, so it's going to be a close game. But I think it's going to be a good one. I hope it's a good one. I hope that somehow I'm there tomorrow night, but it's if I'm not, tickets are wait. And my biggest advice to everybody, wait till like 20 minutes before the Bears game starts, because there's always $6 tickets.
That's a good call. And yeah, if you do end up going, get loud. I know it doesn't matter, but at the same time, this is sports. We want to beat our rivals. We wanted to beat the Packers last week. Almost kind of sort of happened. We always want to beat the Vikings. We can get 2 more wins this year. I want both of them to be against the Vikings.
All right. Well, that's what I got too. So with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year in Chicago. My name is Nick Brody with Tony Cepeda. Bear down. Bears play the Vikings Monday Night Football at Soldier Field. We're hoping to be all holly and jolly after, but if we're not, don't be surprised. So with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year in Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, joined alongside Tony Cepeda. We will see you guys next time.